I understand how counterintuitive this video could be, because 9 times out of 10 when you ask this question, or when you stumble upon this video, you've already been asked the question and you already gave your response, right? Whatever it was. We're gonna go through the 3 different responses that, the 3 main responses that people take to this question, but I hope that, one, maybe you've never been asked the question and then you'll remember the things that were discussed in this video. If you ever are asked the question, it can help you. Or 2, you've already been asked the question and you responded however you responded, and hopefully this video can give you a little bit of clarity or reassurance about whatever decision it was that you did make, whatever reaction you did decide to take when you were asked this question. So let's jump right into it. One reaction you can have, one way you can handle being asked about how many sexual partners you've had is you can lie. And 9 times out of 10, most of the time, women are told just lie about what the number is. Because men can't handle however many the number is, and they'll judge you, and the list goes on. And it's true, all of those things that those people say is true, but at the end of the day, it's your reaction is going to set the table for how you interact with that person and how you interact with everybody else in your life. So while the advice to lie comes from a place of protection, in the long run, it is not going to be beneficial for you, because it shows, and it not only shows, but it illuminates an insecurity in you that keeps you forever trapped in that energy, because you'll feel guilty for lying about it in the first place, and you'll always have to act in a way that comes off as innocent and virginal. So if you did lie about your number and you said there was only 1 or 2, or you said that you were a virgin, or whatever it is that you said, you're now trapped in that person. You're trapped in that energy. So now you always have to watch your actions and what you say, and even how you behave in the bedroom. You're not going to be able to be free and express yourself sexually and however else you want to express yourself, because you're going to be forever bound by that lie that you said in the beginning. So I'm not going to say whether or not you should or not lie, you should lie or you shouldn't, but I'm just giving you the facts. That's what happens when you lie. It keeps you stuck in that energy. You're forever having to keep up that lie, because that's what happens when you lie. And also, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to see how that person will respond because you lied. So now that kind of pacifies them. Because let's be honest, when somebody asks you about your body count, it comes from an insecure place as well. And you lie because you're vibrating on that same energy. They ask you the question because they're somehow feeling inadequate sexually. Maybe, they feel like they can't perform for whatever reason. And they want to know what your body count is, because if it's a low number, then it kind of, puts them at ease, and it kind of makes them feel like, okay, well, this person is not very sexually experienced, so they're going to be a lot more lenient with me because I'm not that experienced, right? And this is why most men ask this question. I know women ask the question sometimes, but it's typically asked by men because of all the stigma that's attached to sexual performance for men. So it really illuminates an insecurity in that man. So before we get on to the second and the third response that can be made, I want to make it clear that if a man ever asks you this question, it's an automatic grounds for putting him in the friend zone. You guys should already be in the friend zone. When you first meet a person, they should already be in the friend zone. There should be no rushing into whatever, but everybody's free to make their own decisions. I'm just saying, If they ask you this question, it is a major, 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 major red flag. And the last thing you want to do is have sex with this person, because they are already having insecurities surrounding sex, and you engaging with them sexually is only going to exacerbate that, and that's going to lead to issues down the line. It could even lead to domestic violence, and we'll talk about that in another video. This is they kind of go hand in hand with the domestic violence. I will talk about that being one of the red flags too, in the beginning. But so all of that, let's get to the second response that you can take when you're asked that question. What's your body count? How many people have you had sex with? People ask it in different ways. But the second response that you can take, other than lying, is you could tell the truth. It communicates to the other person that you are secure in who you are and you're confident about your worth. Whatever your number is, it does not define you, and you've already made peace with your sexual experiences and who that has shaped you to become. You understand that your experiences shape you, and you don't make any apologies for whatever it is that you did, whether you're a virgin, whether you've had a million partners. You're secure in that fact, so you tell them what the number is. So although this does communicate that you are confident and that person's going to see that in you, the other side to it is now you're putting yourself in a position to where they could use that information against you. And a lot of times you could be aware of that, and that could be illuminating to who that person is, that person's character. Because if they use that information against you, that says a lot about them. That says that they view women, or they view other people. They attach worth of a person, or let's just throw it out there. If a man uses your sexual past against you after you were honest with him about what it was, it shows that he views women as objects. And he attaches the worth of a woman to how many people that she has slept with. And that's his prerogative. He's allowed to do that. That's fine. Yeah, it has all of these other, there's other things that could be said about it, but I'm not here to judge anybody for whatever decisions they make. So I'm just making it clear that that's where his headspace is at. And again, that type of thinking causes issues down the line, because now here you are, not only proving him wrong because you're confident, because a lot of men have this notion that women who have slept with a lot of different men don't have self-confidence and don't have high self-esteem, and they're worthless and all of these kinds of things. And then here you are telling him the truth and standing in your truth. So not only are you proving him wrong, but you're challenging his character, because again, the question comes from an insecure place. So this person's already insecure, and then here you are secure and standing in your truth. It's going to threaten him, especially if it's a man asking a question. It's going to threaten his supposed manhood, masculinity. It's going to threaten his character. It's going to threaten a lot of things about him. And again, these things lead to domestic violence. They lead to bigger issues if we don't address them in the beginning. So again, this is why it's super, super important to keep that boundary with the person who asks you this question. Regardless of how you decide to react, I'm just giving you all the facts. If you react in this way, you tell the truth, be prepared for that to come back and bite you later, for them to be able to use that, for them to be able to tell other people. Keep in mind that if you lie, it's going to keep you trapped. But if you tell the truth, now their fear is amplified because it's a real thing now. Like, they were fearing that you had a whole bunch of partners that you could compare them to. And So be prepared for that, for all of those things that come with telling the truth. And then so the last way that you could respond is a way that encompasses telling the truth and also protecting yourself at the same time. So you just tell them it's none of your business, and you could say it in those exact words, or you could just say, I'd rather not share that information with you. That's a very personal question. Just set a boundary and don't give them any information that's about it. Just tell them that's none of your business. And this option covers all the bases. It communicates still that you're confident, like, as if you were to tell the truth, but at the same time, like I said before, it protects you against the possibility of them being able to use this information against you in the future. If they now, let's say that you said, it's none of your business, or I prefer not to answer that question, or you change the subject, you just go about it a different kind of way. This is the key. Now, this is very important. This is a very important part. Let's say that you do that, and they pressure you to give them an answer. This is also known as gaslighting. We'll talk some more about that in another video. And I'm sure you guys have already heard the phrase, maybe not, but if you have, this is known as gaslighting. They pressure you to give them an answer. Oh, it must be a big number, or whatever comment they want to make. This is when you stop engaging with them completely. The opportunity for friendship is off the table. This person is clearly mentally and emotionally unstable. They don't respect boundaries, and they're dangerous. And I know that sounds dramatic or whatever, but it's the truth. We cannot keep overlooking these clear red flags, these clear signs that people are not in a stable place to be engaging with other people. You can't depend on other people to protect you from them. Because 9 times out of 10, when these people are in these states of mind, they are not aware of it. They think that there's nothing wrong with them. So if you're on the outside observing and you're realizing this person doesn't respect my boundaries, what makes you think that they're gonna respect you when it comes to like you setting boundaries with wanting to have sex, or you setting boundaries with anything else? Boundaries are a part of everyday life. If they can't respect a simple boundary as I don't want to share information with you right now, then that's a red flag. You can't. There's no conversation or interaction that needs to be had after that. They've already let you know where they are. And yeah, we can get into the whole thing of, oh, but I feel sorry for them. Oh, but I see all the potential. Oh, but I see that they're a good person deep down inside. Yes, all of that is true. All of that could be true. All of that is valid. All of that makes sense. But at the end of the day, this is about protecting yourself. You cannot depend on anybody else to do that for you. If they do not respect your boundaries after you say, and it could be even with, okay, let's say they ask you that question and you say, I don't want to share that information with you, and they're fine about it. But then a couple days later, they come back and they find little subtle ways to keep bringing it up. That's still that's still them not respecting your boundaries, even though they're not doing it in a blatant, derogatory way, even though they're not like taunting and trying to get it out of you by guilting you into it. It's still a red flag. The only acceptable response to that is, okay, I respect your decision, and it's done. They leave it alone. It's never brought up again, unless you bring it up. Or if they bring it up again, they say, okay, well, this question is still on my mind. Are you willing, we've been spending a little bit of time together now. We know each other a little bit better. Are you willing to share the information with me again? Like, if they come and they that's a way that they're showing that they respect your boundary, but they're still trying to get what they need to. And that's healthy. That's understandable. That could be worked through. You guys have the conversation again, and then you decide what you want to do after that. But there's ways. to go about it. So let's recap. There are 3 different ways that you can respond when somebody asks you the body count question. And the top way to respond is to just tell them that you would rather not disclose that information, however you want to say that. Or you could tell the truth, but also keep in mind that they could use that information against you later. And even if you're comfortable with, like, you don't care whether they use the information about you later. Like, you know, I've gone through a phase like that where, you know, I would do that on purpose just to see what kind of character this person really had, because I needed confirmation. Like, I would already feel it, and then I would purposely tell them the truth, or I would embellish. I would say a bigger number than what it is, just to see their reaction. And that in itself is dangerous because for a lot of different reasons. So that's just not the way to go about doing things. And that person did end up, you know, throwing that back in my face and saying whatever, and not let me know what type of character they had. And at that point is when I should have backed away. But because I was already wrapped up in that situation, it was harder to back away. So that's why I'm saying this is all from experience. My advice, a lot of people get on there and they give you advice about, you know, how you should react in this. I've seen women actually sit, like married women, actually sit down and make a video saying that you should lie to your husband about what the number is. Or you should tell them that they don't need to know, or whatever. That's the good advice, but I think the different ways need to be broken down because that's the only way that we're gonna learn, and we're gonna have an understanding about what is really going on. So I hope you got all the information that you needed. I hope you can go into the situations, interactions with other people with more wisdom. And until next time, be well.